All right, this is a 99 Chevrolet Tahoe 2-door. Says it's an LT trim. It's got leather, power on the driver, auto windows, power locks. She's clean, all black. Got the light, like tannish gray interior. It's more gray, but kind of like has like tan tone to it. Exterior's in really good shape. There's a few things that pop my eye. Snow tires. Tires are good. They're not studded. They could work for like a good old season for now. Excuse me. But the heat we get here would tear those up. Paint's in great shape. There is some orange peel around it. There's some blemishes here, some touch up, some chips, some minor scratches up here, and some oxidation on those rails. And then as far as I could find, this panel here, this whole panel has been repainted or resprayed. I don't find any signs of like body work. There's a little bit of imperfection like right in here. Oh, this is like on the body line, the factory one. Normally there's trim set in here, so they'll shave that, I guess is what they call it. Has like a nice chrome front end, and it has like the SS kind of front bumper and stuff. Not bad. There is some clear peeling. You get up to it and you see where like the clear is kind of peeling on there. And then just some real light chips that have been touched up on the hood, and just a few scratches, but really not too bad. Glass is all in really good shape. Doors all shut really good. Keys you got to use to lock and unlock. The actual door lock buttons don't work, so technically you still got manual locks. We're gonna keep pushing through this. The exterior is really good. Oh, you did have a question on the brakes and stuff. Now, drums, I would say could be newer, but they are not brand new. They've been in there for a little while. Can't really pull those apart without taking the wheels off. You gotta lift it. The fronts, they've painted those calipers, but the sizing of the pad versus the piston is what kind of drew my eye. It just looks a little weird. A lot of piston versus a little pad. So I don't know if we just have too small of rotors or something. I'm not sure. I don't know those off the top of my head, I guess, either. So it's been a while since I've had a front end of a 90s in my face. But that usually that whole piston is on the whole backside of the pad for equal pressure. So I don't know. It just looks silly to me. On both sides here. You got the slotted rotors. You see how just a little bit pops out of there. It's just kind of weird. But overall, not bad. And then the wheels obviously are from like a newer Tahoe, like 2000s. My focus is freaking out. There we go. But they're good. No spare. We're gonna stop here. All right, engine bay really dressed up, really cleaned up nicely. Everything's here. You still have your charcoal box. You have canister. All the fuse boxes and the covers. Full intake. All the wiring is still nice. Not much is taped up or anything weird. When I did pop the hood, I don't know if you can see, but on my shirt I got some stains, but there's a little bit of like fresh coolant here, like they topped this up or something. Vehicle was running when I got here. Brand new battery, obviously. Filters, not bad. I mean, it could be replaced, but you could get away with till the winter. Fluids are really good level. Power steering pretty much dry. Keep an eye on that. Down below, that cross member is pretty wet, but your trans cooler lines also run through there, and it's pretty common on Chevys for those leaking. So I can't say perfectly what's what, but I mean, your power steering's low and it's right near those lines. I'd give it a hard swing, you know. Right now, just bear with the camera. I'm gonna set this down and we're gonna do a quick startup and keep this from falling into the engine when we do it. All right, we'll be right back. So, fires right up. As you can tell, newer battery. Sounds good, quiet. Putting your hand on here, it's smooth, it's not rough. AC's been working. One thing that kind of caught my eye is the clutch isn't kicking on and off very often, but maybe I mean, that's good. Usually when they kick on and kick off and kick on and kick off, that means that you got a low charge. So right here, she's running. And then it'll kick off when it needs to. There, see? Alright, and then coolant recovery is pretty low, but like I said, I'm pretty sure they topped that bad boy up. But overall, really nice engine bay on this. Alright, so anytime we do our undercarriage, I start with this mirror. This mirror just kind of helped me get a good angle on the underside of the vehicle. Starting from the front to the back, this just lets me see if anything's been hanging down, sagging, loose, dragging around. Look for anything that's kind of wet, obviously. I'll show you a couple shiny spots, but nothing too major. Skid plates and everything all in really good shape. We're going to go over to the driver front corner where the body mount is. So driver front here, that's your body mount to the frame, and then your rockers are actually in really good shape. Down here you can see where the cats have been deleted and you just got straight pipes. And then on the bell housing, the camera's having a little hard time focusing, but it's a little wet there. A little wetness around the cooler lines and stuff. Everything else looks pretty good. Frame looks nice and straight and everything looks nice and tidy. We'll go on to the back there. Alright, so straight from the back, here's your fuel tank. You can see the rear axle. It does have Bilstein shocks on there. And then the drums, like I was saying, it's kind of hard to just tell if they've been done without pulling wheels. And then a good sized muffler on there, tailpipe and everything. It does have the frame mounted hitch. And then your body mount there. All looks really good, both sides. Alright, we're on the passenger side here. So there's your muffler, pretty good one. Nice and quiet, but you can still tell this thing's got a V8 when you get her. Rocker here, rear mount, and your frame all looks really good. And you can see that pipe really good where the cats normally come off of. And then front corner here. So you can see the Bilsteins all the way around, which is really nice. Again, I didn't see any evidence of new pitman or idler arms. If so, they have way too much grease and grime to be done at least this year. That would be my opinion, but really not bad. It does have some kind of undercoating on there, just not like a full treatment, but it's better than nothing with these older things. Chevy frames are always dipped in wax, so they don't last very long, but overall this one's doing really good. Alright, so we're going to go through our interior. I'm just going to start here. So AC, got that on. Now you can see here, the modes don't really respond. You can kind of hear it trying, but they don't really move. It's always coming out of here, the vents. And then when you go this switch, everything off. And then this works, and then off. So three out of 4 work. Turn that down so you can hear me a little better. It does have an aftermarket deck, sounds good, radio works. Mileage at the end of my drive, we're at 184,347. And then this is a 96 or newer, so it does have the Vortec dash. Did notice like this crack here in the dash. This handle for this clasp is missing or broken. But everything else looks really good and is there for the most part. Even the cup holder still pops out. So from here, I'm just gonna go from the outside in. We're gonna look from out to in. So door cards are in pretty good shape. You know, just some minor things like this little speaker's kind of popping out a little bit. Seat wise, we have a little rip in this seam here, and then just some wear marks on the leather and a little stain here. And then steering wheel and everything's in good shape. Seals are good. This one I did see has a little tear in it. That's just like from the windshield to the door edge, and then you have another seal, but still. Go to the other side. Alright, so on this door card, there is a little crack guy here. Still tight, still secure, doesn't rattle or anything, but that's there. You do have lumbar, but not power on this side, so that's cool. This seat, same thing on the wear. And then back here, these seats look like they are barely ever used. So, really cool. Seatbelts all retract pretty good. This one's a little wonky. I don't know if it's kind of twisted or not, but just been out for a while. Carburetors are in good shape. Seat backs are in good shape. And then it does have the overhead console. Glove box fully functional with an owner's manual. And then it does have this little like cargo tray, which you don't see on a lot of them. Usually you see it on like certain trims, so that's a cool thing. That's not a common thing. But we'll end here. That's good interior. I mean, it's clean, you guys. There is a few blemishes. The Chevy leather is not great over time. I have a 2015 and I have a tear bigger than that, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so rear cargo area, trunk, hatch, lift gate, however you like to call it. This one is farm doors. This thing's in good shape, I'm gonna be honest. There's, you know, a couple nicks, you know, one on the speaker, some on the headliner there. You do have your spare. There's even a spare belt in there, so that's 90s preparation right there. Extra carpet. I think it's like a cargo thing for when you have your spare mounted, it covers it, so it's carpeted. Doors and everything function as you want. There is a lock switch back here, but as I've said in a few times on the video, the lock switch doesn't actually work on the vehicle currently. The seller was not able to kind of figure out what's going on with that. It's been like that. As far as doors, they're in good shape, but this one's spring is kind of off a bit and it doesn't really lock on. I've tried messing with it, but it's just a little out of place. If you had some good pliers, you could probably bend that into where it needs to be in this channel area, and then it would stay open a little better. This one doing what it's supposed to. So it doesn't, the wind kind of keeps blowing it shut, but beyond that I don't really have too many complaints back here. Bumper and everything look really good. It does have frame mounted trailer connection. There is like a hole here for what you would think would be for the spare, but this is actually the fuel tank on these vehicles. And then this is just like when you fold this seat down, this just closes the gap, it doesn't come off. And then farm doors for the win. Boom boom. Alright, so real fast we're going to go through our code scan, just trying to work with the glare here. So each module we go through and scan each one, kind of just check it over. Older vehicles, obviously there's not a whole lot of stuff talking as much as new cars. They all check good here. Nothing to cause concern, so we'll just keep moving forward. Down here I always just make sure that the VIN there is what's on the vehicle, just to make sure we still have the same computer. I'm going to pause here, go to our monitors. Alright, so going through here, we do have reds here at the evap and cats. That's going to make sense. The evap canister is still in the engine bay, but there is no cats. It's been straight piped from the manifolds back to an actual muffler, but there is no cats in there. It's pretty common on these older 90s. I mean, a lot of newer stuff doesn't even have cats. It's not throwing any codes while I was driving it. I didn't have a lot of fuel or plates, so I didn't go too far. I did take it down the freeway and everything, just to kind of blow her out, get it up to speed, kind of see if any of those will reset or pull any codes. So we'll just keep going through here. Now, those don't concern me, being that the cats don't exist. If anything else was kind of just all red X's, I'd be more concerned about that. And we're going to stop here. Alright, we're going to wrap up this inspection. Very clean. You don't see these very often, so I always fangirl about these. I really wanted one of these when I was younger, you know. I'm a 90s kid, so these were brand new when I was growing up. Love this. The black's really nice. There is some signs of paintwork, but it's not terrible. Just a few blemishes here and there, some oxidation on the vehicle. Under the hood, we do have a potential power steering leak or transmission cooler leak. Everything else looks really good on the vehicle. As far as your steering concerns, I don't think the rack, or not the rack, there's no rack, so it's an idler and pitman. They do not look new. They've got a bit of grime and grease that are over this year. It's been longer than this year. It does have Bilstein shocks all the way around. Brakes seem good. They're not brand new. A little funny. Hard to tell on the drums. Like I said, exterior has a couple blemishes, but really nothing too bad. Really good looking vehicle. No dings, no real dents. Just some chips and stuff like scratches. Some oxidation on the top there. a couple chips in the light and a crack up there, but overall drives really good, sounds really good, nice and quiet. But when you get on it, she's going, gets up to 75 real smooth. Stopping, I would probably try to bleed these brakes a couple more times, just flush that fluid. A little bit of that soft hydro boost at first, which is like that comfort feel, but in like an emergency scenario for me, it just seems like a little further than I want to be. Beyond that, really good. I don't have a lot to gripe on this one. It does have an undercoat. It's not the best undercoat, but it's there and it's doing its job. There's not a lot of surface rust under here. Doesn't have any cats on it, so if you're California compliant, that might be an issue. But beyond that, we're good to go. This thing's looking good.